We are in Norman, Oklahoma. This is the Women's Regional Gymnastics Championships, and this is round 2, session 2. And this is the moment that the #1 team in the country, the home team, the Oklahoma Sooners, get to take the floor to make their run for a 6th national championship. Here are the teams competing in this session. Oklahoma, Ohio State, they're the 16th ranked team. Arkansas, NC State, those are the 4 teams, plus individuals from New Hampshire, Illinois State, and Ball State, who will be trying to vie for individual spots at the NCAA championships later in April. I am John Roethlisberger, and I'm joined by NCAA champion Olympian Sam Pesek. Sam, talk about this session. It's much anticipated, the #1 team in the country, but there also could be some drama as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see much movement with Oklahoma. They've proven all season long to be bulletproof, and they're also in their home arena. So I think the real conversation is around Ohio State and Arkansas. They're coming into this kind of gunning back to back, and both of them have had some really record-breaking seasons, but also had some mistakes as well. So I think it's going to be whoever shows up and comes here to play. But that doesn't mean that we can count out NC State, because in 2021, they made the 3-meet run from the play-in day to the regional finals, so really anything can happen, John.
So here are your 4 regional sites, or we have 4 regional sites rather. The first round was a dual meet to get into this. The second round is 2 quad meets in each region. The top 2 teams from each of those sessions goes on to the regional final, and from the regional final, the top 2 teams advance to the NCAA semifinals. That'll be 8 teams at the NCAA semifinals. 4 of those teams go on to the finals of the NCAA. So it is going to be a lot of excitement. It is April Madness, almost April, but we call this April Madness in women's gymnastics. Here's where your teams are going to start. NC State, they get going on the vault. That's the upper left of your screen. We have a quad box throughout. As the teams finishes, we'll get rid of that quad box for you and go to 3, 2, and then eventually 1. But Arkansas will be on the uneven bars. They are in the top right of your screen. Oklahoma, they are starting on balance beam. That is already begun. That is Jenna Dunn. They are the bottom left of your screen. And then Ohio State, they are on the floor exercise. They are in the huddle on the bottom right of your screen.
John, I'm going to jump in really quick because Jenna Dunn is actually always in this leadoff spot on beam, and this is actually Olivia Troutman. So curious here of why they made that change. I mean, Olivia Troutman is a 5th year. She scored a 9.95 at Big 12s. She can definitely hit this beam routine, so I'm just curious. Usually Jenna Dunn is their leadoff and such a solid stud for them.
Hey, I'll tell you this, though, KJ, I covered them at Big 12 championships a couple weeks ago, and her gymnasts went out of order, and Olivia Troutman was one of them, cost them a 10th. So do you think they're in the right order? Maybe it's a deja vu all over again.
I don't think KJ is going to make that mistake one more time.
I don't think so either.
Judging by how much she beat herself up for that, I think she's good. But she did say to be the national champion, you have to start with a 9.9, and I'm willing to bet that Olivia's score is going to be just that.
I mean, what a start. You mentioned it. They have been unstoppable all season, and I think people keep waiting for the hiccup. You know, they're at such a level. How can they maintain that level? People keep asking, and every time the question's asked, they come out and they answer, or even up the bar even further. They did it at the Big 12 championships not that long ago, and here they go, starting off things well here at the regional second round. Bottom right, Tori Vetter starting off on floor exercise for Ohio State. Callie Swaney was the leadoff for Arkansas on bars, and Gabrielle Diaz was the leadoff for NC State on vault. Krista Zoltovich will be the 2nd gymnast to go for NC State on vault.
If you're looking in the bottom right, that's Ohio State. I know it's a bit confusing because all of these teams are wearing red, but head coach Meredith Polisiewicz said that she was excited to start on floor because they have a lot of legs kids. And so what that means is there's a lot of powerful gymnasts on our team. So the key for them was to not actually get too amped up, which can be tough because they really want to qualify to the regional finals. They're starting on floor and there's a lot of adrenaline. So make sure we're looking for laying in bounds on floor.
Waiting for the score for Olivia Troutman on beam, and I believe that is Kat Lavasser that is going to be the 2nd gymnast to go. So a little jockeying of what we anticipated the Oklahoma lineup. We don't have any indication as to why, but you can trust they have the depth to make those adjustments. Nicole Riccardi talking to Luke Wasson, the assistant coach for Ohio State, bottom right of your screen, getting ready to go on floor. Jensen Scalzo on uneven bars.
Let's check out Jensen's routine. Really nice, strong, aggressive cast handstand to get things going. Nice release move combination, legs glued together. Strong handstand back up to that high bar. And the key for them is to nail down those details. Pretty clean landing. Not quite a stuck landing, but very minimal deductions for her. That's 2 for 2 for Arkansas. They're in a good place right now.
Sam, it looked like she had that double layout floated. It looks like she brought her arms out of the double layout, looking for that landing just a hair early, because the way it looked in the air, I thought for sure she was going to stick that.
Yeah, me too. I think sometimes you rush it a little bit, especially with that added adrenaline. I'm going to say it a few times because it really comes a factor. We've seen 8 teams throughout the country compete, and every single team so far in today's semifinals days have had a fall. Not all of them had to count a fall, but they've all had a fall, which I think is really interesting.
Tori Vetter, a 9.875 to lead off for Ohio State on floor. That matches Callie Swaney's 9.875 for Arkansas to lead off on bars. Olivia Troutman at a 9.875 as well to lead off for Oklahoma on beam. And we're waiting for Kat Lavasser score. NC State on vault, the 9.7 and 9.775 from their first 2. Alexis Ortega just vaulted, so we're waiting for her score.
Big hop on that first tumbling pass.
Reese Trotar will be the next gymnast to go on the uneven bars, top right of your corner for Arkansas.
Good handstand. Straight up to the high bar. Another good combination. She's just a freshman. She's been competing a lot for this team. They have a really young team, so I think that's where we saw some of the inconsistencies come. But wow, that I have not seen her do a better routine than that this season.
And that's going to be a 9.9.
3 for 3 there.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now that it's going to be a 9.9. They have 2 9.875 so far, and I think, Sam, that looked like the best routine of the 3 so far. So if it's not a 9.9, I will be very surprised.
Yeah, I agree with you. Really good finish for Ohio State on floor here.
They need it. Arkansas's come out strong.
They do.
Jordan Bowers, bottom left, getting ready to go. Will be the 3rd gymnast for Oklahoma, waiting for Kat Lavasser's score. Lauren Rutherford just finished vault. Alexis Ortega, 9.8.
Kat Lavasser had a pretty big wobble. She didn't fall, but she had a pretty big wobble. So I know Oklahoma is going to want to drop that score. Jordan Bowers has been really consistent for them this year. She focused on that a lot in the offseason.
Jordan's number 7 in the country. Didn't compete beam all that much last year just because of inconsistency. Got settled in after her freshman year, and talked to KJ before their first meet and gave her a shot on beam, and she did not relinquish it. Being in the top 10 with a high of a 9.975, you can understand why.
Yeah, I really like her gymnastics, the way she moves, just the intensity and the fierceness, but she also brings such a graceful presence as well. I like the combination, and she's attacking this set. Doesn't look nervous at all.
Kat Lavasser, a 9.725, so you're right, bit of a wobble, low score for Oklahoma. Reese Trotar, though, a 9.925.
You called it. You called it.
They are your early leaders. We are only 3 routines in on this rotation, but it is an impressive start for Arkansas as Maddie Jones goes on the bars now.
Nice catch. You know when you can tell a team is just, oh no. Looks like she's okay, and she just missed her hand a little bit there. I was gonna say, you can tell a team that's really gaining momentum, and then she did that. Wow.
That is an unfortunate mistake. Now keep in mind, top 5 of the 6 scores count. You can drop a score Each of these teams, we mentioned Oklahoma with that 9.725 from Kat Lavasser. That'll be a score that they want to drop. But 3 great scores for Arkansas so far. 2 more routines yet to go. They're going to want to hit those.
Yeah, definitely. She's going to finish up this routine, but even though she already had a fall and they don't want to count this score, she really needs to be as perfect as possible for the second half. As we saw in some regionals earlier today, you never know what can happen, and great job for her for finishing strong there, because who knows, they might need that score.
Nicole Riccardi on floor, 9.75 for Ohio State in the second spot. Now Claire Gagliardi is on the floor right now.
I love watching Ohio State on floor. They're so fun. Such a great team to watch, so entertaining. They're heating up, John. They're heating up.
Yeah, baby. Gloria Negretti on vault, the anchor for NC State. Nails it, finishes it strong.
Yesterday, their team score was a 48.65. I think they might surpass that here. Yeah, they're already at a 48.7, so who knows? Maybe they actually needed that play-in day just to get a little warm-up coming into today's competition.
That's an interesting talker. You wonder if it kind of gets you warmed up and gets your momentum going a little bit. It does create a lot of gymnastics, so over a couple days and maybe even 3 days if they should advance. So it's an interesting conversation for sure. As Faith Torres for Oklahoma, bottom left of your screen for Oklahoma.
Yeah, she got a nearly perfect score at Big 12s, which we mentioned earlier. It's actually harder to score well in the postseason because there's more judges.
Faith is a former senior national team member, outstanding freshman for Oklahoma this year. Just been a huge addition to this team, adding that depth.
We asked KJ Kindler, you know, what she likes about her, and what she said was quite interesting to me. She said, you know, she can put things behind her. If she makes mistakes, she just brushes them off really quickly, and that's something that's very useful, especially in a sport like gymnastics.
Jamie Pratt on bars in a critical spot now for Arkansas. Following a miss, got a hit. That was Hannah Ruthberg on vault, by the way, an individual from Ball State competing. That will be the last gymnast to go in the vault event in this rotation.
A lot of power on that double bike.
Down to the 3 box, Arkansas at the top, Oklahoma bottom left, Ohio State bottom right. Jordan Bowers, by the way, just a 9.8 for her on that beam routine. So still no 9.9s for the #1 team in the country.
Nice front handspring double full, adding the difficulty in there. John, it might be tough to see now, but this Ohio State leotard is called the mullet leotard. It's all business in the front, but it's a party in the back. They actually have people that are holding the OHIO in rhinestones on the back. So hopefully you can get a good look at that throughout this competition.
I love it. Why not have some fun with the uniforms, you know? I think it's fantastic. Audrey Davis just mounted the balance beam, still waiting for Faith Torres' score to come in. Jamie Pratt and 9.8, so that is a big score following a missed routine. And Nora Flatley, one of the best in the country on bars for Arkansas now.
Yeah, this is a really important routine for Arkansas, and if you want an athlete to be up right now, it's Nora. She's had a lot of practice this year and came in clutch after at SECs after a mistake, so just needs to hit the dismount for them to be in the clear, and they're happy with that one.
So good finish for Arkansas in a clutch moment. Following a miss, they get to drop that 9.275 from Maddie Jones, and they will finish with a very solid uneven bar team score. Faith Torres, a 9.925 for Oklahoma in the 4th spot. Claire Gagliardi in the 3rd spot for Ohio State, a 9.9.
I don't know about you, John, but I have a feeling that we're going to have some close numbers after rotation number 1, which I'm sure they don't love, but as a spectator, I really like the parity here.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Oklahoma not going to have maybe not even a lead after this first rotation. We're going to have 3 jam-packed teams for sure. NC State with a good vault rotation. Those numbers probably not going to keep up with the top 3 teams, but we talked about Ohio State, Arkansas going back and forth, and right now, 2 9.875s for Ohio State. They have a 9.9. They do have a 9.75, but keep in mind again, they could drop that with 2 hit routines at the end of this rotation. This is fun. This is awesome.
This is. I want to check out the bottom right screen. This is Lexi Edwards. She's a senior. Oftentimes she gets overlooked because she's not an all-arounder, but she's one of their senior leaders. She's MVP, and you know, head coach Meredith Polisiewicz said, if I could hope for someone to go to NCAAs on floor, it is Lexi. So check it out.
Number 25 in the country right now. High of a 9.975 this season. Beautiful bar dismount from Megan Teeter. She's from Ball State, competing as an individual.
Opens double pike. Very open double pike. Didn't even need to grab her legs, probably.
Yeah, that was gorgeous. She kind of flared it out a little at the end. You don't see that too often. Reagan Smith, the last gymnast for Oklahoma on balance beam. She is a veteran, outstanding beam worker. She follows Audrey Davis's 9.875.
She scored a perfect 10 at Big 12s. So last time up, she was perfect. It's an athlete that can put up a big number. She's a student of the sport. Every little inch, she's analyzed it and practiced it.
Hit a clutch beam routine last year at the NCAA championships to clinch the team title for Oklahoma. Needs a 9.9 right here to pass Arkansas to be in first place after this first rotation. Nice job.
She's working the beam.
Edwards.
Yeah, she's working the beam really aggressive, John, and sometimes that's tough to do, especially if you can notice that your teammates aren't having the greatest day or didn't score their highest potential, and she looks fearless up there. I like what I see. Wow. Not much to say about that.
Things.
Yeah.
Wow, that is
pretty incredible.
Her enthusiasm is infectious, though, when she hits her routine and she puts those number 1s up. I mean, it's not even arrogant. It's just enthusiasm and pure joy, and you can't help but get excited watching her.
Yeah, I love how much she loves gymnastics. She just exudes it, you know, and you can't help but smile.
Nora Flatley, a 9.875 to finish the rotation for Arkansas. Megan Teeter, a 9.875 of her own for that amazing bar routine. Hannah Ruthberg, the individual from Ball State on vault, a 9.8. Robin Kelly from New Hampshire will be on balance beam as an individual. Ella Hodges, the last gymnast to go for Ohio State on floor exercise, follows Lexi Edwards, 9.95. Ohio State not afraid to go toe-to-toe with these 2 other teams.
Not at all. I mean, they have the ability to pass Arkansas with this floor routine right here. And judging by the way Oklahoma's responding, it makes me think Reagan got a 10. We'll see.
Yeah, they are enthusiastic. We're trying to confirm the score right now. It is a 10. Reagan Smith gets another one. And just when it looked like Oklahoma might be a little nervous and a little off, not so fast, my friend.
I mean, I think if you ask KJ right now, she will still say they were a little nervous and a little off. But if 49.475 is a little nervous and a little off, I think they're doing okay.
Beautiful beam acro series from Robin Kelly there.
This is still Ella Hodges on floor. She actually earned a scholarship this year. Just incredible work ethic.
Ella Hodges on floor. If she can go 9-9 or better, Ohio State will take the lead away from Oklahoma.
Wow, that was a pretty stunning floor routine. I've not much to say about it. From the presentation quality, the precise landing, start to finish, incredible.
Sam speechless.
Hey, rotation number 1's getting me fired up. I hope all of you guys watching are as excited as I am, because it's going to be a competition today.
It's absolutely, this first rotation made you look like a genius, Sam, because you said this was going to happen. You said it was going to be tight. Now, we thought Oklahoma might, run away with this thing, and that's not happening yet. But it's going to be a drama-filled day for sure in this session. We have one more gymnast to go on floor exercise. Jay Mack from Illinois State, sophomore out of Kansas City, Missouri. She's the second gymnast in school history to qualify to the NCAA championships as an individual when she did it on floor exercise last year. Trying to do it again.
And I think it's athletes like this that really are the leading force to help a team grow and evolve and really elevate them in a way. I mean, you see that happen with a lot of teams now, and it's great to see the progression and the growth of a team.
And that's an interesting concept too. If you get one high-profile, really good level 10 gymnast to come in, or even elite gymnast to come into your program that you're trying to build, and they have another gymnast on their team, their club team, that's younger, you can start to get a pipeline of really good athletes, and that can turn a program around.
Well, the expectation is just higher.
Sorry, Sam. 9.925. Ella Hodges on floor. That means Ohio State is going to be your early leader. We thought it was going to be Arkansas. Then Oklahoma came up, hit a big beam routine with Reagan Smith. They take the lead. And then Ella Hodges says, wait a minute, I get my turn. She puts up a 9.925. Ohio State gets the lead. Unbelievable start to this session.
And I think it's important to note that Ohio State, they scored higher than their average, but they did score a 49.6 once this season. So they're really trying to go lights out here today. Oh, really shy on that full and didn't quite get the full punch before she started twisting. Comes back strong. A really great combination pass. And again, I'm going to point it out, these individual athletes are not here with their team, so the teams on each event usually adopt them, and you can see those Ohio State girls cheering her on in the background. I really like to see that.
Unbelievable start to this first rotation. Some of the highlights, Arkansas, they came out really strong on the even bars, led by Reese Rotars, 9.925.
She has such beautiful lines, hitting those handstands. And check out this dismount. Her hips are stretched the whole way, finds the landing so easily. Great competition experience for that freshman.
Lexi Edwards on floor with a 9.95 for the team in the lead, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
She has huge difficulty, and it's hard to actually see with this angle just how high she gets in the air, but really fun performances from Ohio State.
After not a great start by OU standards, Reagan Smith changes that with a 10 at the end of the rotation.
That means 2 perfect 10s in a row for Reagan. She's really heating up, and she's got her game face on, I can tell. This is going to be a fun one.
Outstanding job for the Sooners. All these top 3 teams are within 0.2 of a point. And that's what you do to get a 10. Nail the landing. Reagan Smith and the Sooners. They'll be heading to the floor exercise in the second rotation. This is a recap. Half a tenth. Ohio State over Oklahoma, the #1 team in the country. Arkansas in third, led by that 9.925. NC State led by that 9.85 on vault. The second rotation coming up. Oklahoma to floor, Ohio State to vault, Arkansas to beam, NC State to bars. Fantastic theater, don't miss it. After one rotation here in Norman, this is the second session of the round 2 of the regionals, one of 4 regionals. Ohio State, they have a half-tenth lead over that woman right there, the leader of the Oklahoma Sooners, the #1 team in the country. Arkansas, they are in third position, NC State in fourth. Sam, you're catching our breath right here because I think that came out of the gate hard and fast, and we've got a 3-team race so far.
Yeah, I'm fired up. I mean, I think we saw a lot of great things. Arkansas was able to handle the pressure after having a fall in the middle of their lineup. Ohio State really seemed to gain momentum, especially at the end of their lineup. And even though Oklahoma seemed to look a little jittery at the beginning of their lineup, they really came in strong with a perfect 10 from Reagan Smith. So I think everybody is in a good spot. I think that they are just heating things up, John.
Yeah, let's stay on Oklahoma for a second. The last decade or so, all eyes have been on this program and on KJ Kindler because she has done some amazing things, and I'll let you take us through this great video.
Yeah, well, she's 2-time National Head Coach of the Year, which is incredible. You see Maggie Nichols and Anastasia Webb. They got amazing recruits. She coached 5 gymnasts to 12 NCAA individual titles and finished top 3 every single season since 2013. Not to mention, they won 5 of the last 8 national championships. So I'd say that it's going pretty well for her at Oklahoma. She's done a lot of good things. Her expectations are high for this team, and she's seeing a lot of success here. So they're doing some things right.
They are doing amazing things. Couldn't really do a whole lot better, although if you talk to KJ, she's probably upset there's not 10 national titles. But here's what, well, as we go and look at what to watch here in this next rotation, we'll talk a lot more about Oklahoma, obviously. But Ohio State, they go to vault, NC State to bars, Arkansas to beam, Oklahoma to floor. We talked about Ohio State. They finish on bars and beam, so great start on floor. See if they can keep the momentum going on vault. The big test will be finishing on bars and beam, see if they can keep it up. But Sam, one of the greatest things I think KJ does, and her staff is the longest running continuous staff of head coach through assistant coach in the country. And the one thing that they do well, besides knowing how to coach gymnastics, is they have a culture and they recruit athletes that fit the culture. They don't just try to get great athletes no matter what. If they're very honest about who they are. And if that's not for you, then don't go to Oklahoma. And it's worked miraculously.
Yeah, and I think after talking to her this week, head coach KJ Kindler, they're very honest. They said, hey, we're not underestimating anyone here, even though they're coming in as the #1 seed. They know that all these teams are hungry, and they need to put their best foot forward.
Callista Gamio will start things off for Arkansas on beam. Now a big test in the second rotation for them. You got to think if they can hit 5 great routines here, they can take a little breath and just let her fly on floor and vault. Tori Vetter started things off for Ohio State on vault. Belle Johnson will start things off on floor for Oklahoma.
And hopefully you saw in the top left quickly, Ohio State hit that very first Yurchenko layout full. Good body positions, little hop back, but a nice way to start for them.
Kaylee Adamides for NC State will start things off on the uneven bars.
And a nice hit routine for Arkansas to get things going. So it's a back and forth already for the first couple competitors. Oh. Couldn't quite get that Jaeger release move there in the top right on bars.
That's Adamides. from NC State, freshman out of Long Island, New York. Again, NC State really can't afford to certainly count a miss, but really needs to kind of hit top to bottom, get the scores building, and maybe get a little help from these top 3 teams to advance. So this is a big bump in the road for them here in the second rotation.
Top left. Let's check it out. We're looking at vault here. Yurchenko layout full. It almost looked very similar to the first vault that they did. Just really good shapes in the air. Body, hips were flat. Not a stuck landing, but clean landings.
Raina Mellis, a senior from Dublin, Ohio. Follows a 9.8 from Tori Vetter, who led things off. Kiara Gianfagna from Arkansas on the beam right now. Follows Gamio's 9.775.
And this is an event for Arkansas that they have had some inconsistencies on. They've scored a team score of 49.525, so they have the potential, but their average is actually just a little above a 49, so they're looking to do better than their average here. But Kiara looks very confident up there. She looks solid. Ooh. Except right there.
Jordan Weaver did tell us when we talked to her earlier this week that they had an inner squad. I believe it was yesterday morning before they traveled to Norman, and she said, we had a great inner squad. If we just do that, we will be great. So hopefully it's living up to that so far here. 2 gymnasts into this beam rotation.
Yeah, she said they looked really calm, which is an interesting word choice going into regional championships.
Audrey Davis about to start her floor team. Seems to be maybe a little hitch as she leaves the floor exercise. Does that ever happen to you, Sam?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes they play the music too soon. Sometimes the judges aren't ready. Sometimes you never know what it could be, but it does kind of mess with your mind a little bit because now you have to restart over your mental choreography or whatever you say to yourself to prepare you. So it definitely throws you off a little bit.
Peyton Childs, the second gymnast for NC State on bars.
Now for Ohio State, we're seeing some big vaults. That's what they're used to, but we really need to see those landings. We're seeing scores in the 9.8s, and they need to put a couple 9.9s if they want to stay in it till the end here.
Raina Mellis from Ohio State, a 9.825 as we're waiting for the third vaulter. Nicole Riccardi, I believe, is about to go. A lot of going on here in the quad box. Great for the spectators, you get to see everything, but it's a lot of gymnastics to follow, but that's by design. We want you guys to see it all as it unfolds.
Taking a look at vault again, top left. Another, oh, this is the 1.5. Wow. Hey, John, are they listening to us? Because I said they need to stick and hit some cleaner landings, and she nailed that 1.5. Huge for them.
And that was actually Peyton Harris. Nicole Riccardi right before her, a 9.75. So 9.8, 9.825. Riccardi's 9.75, but if they can finish along the lines of what Harris just did, they will drop that 9.75. That would be huge for the Buckeyes.
Over on, oh! Wow. That one looked like it hurt. She must have been really off on that second layout. I didn't get a close enough look on when she started to go crooked, but I like that she took a breath before she got back on the beam. This is absolutely going to be the score they want to drop. This is Callie Swaney. She's a freshman. So again, freshman year, getting a lot of competitive opportunities. It's a young team. And it's really hard, all coaches say this, it's really hard to prepare your athletes for the pressure of postseason. And really unfortunate because the rest of that beam routine was solid.
So they will want to drop that score. 9.775, 9.875 are the first two scores for Arkansas. 3 gymnasts yet to go there. Meredith Robinson was the leadoff for NC State. Apologize, that is a correction. She had the fall, 9.8025 rather. Peyton Childs was second with a 9.75. Obregon, the third gymnast to go for NC State. And she is remounted from a fall as well. So unfortunate 2 falls for NC State.
Yeah, and I think it's important to bring up, again, John, too, just how tough it is to compete 2 days in a row. And I know they competed 3 days in a row a couple years ago, but man, it is really tough, not only on your body, but just mentally taxing.
Yeah, a lot of emotions spent knowing that you got to win to be into the next round, and you go out and you do your job, and you put a lot of passion out on the floor, and it's hard to take a deep breath and do it again that soon after that first round. Reagan Smith, bottom right for Oklahoma, follows Audrey Davis's 9.875. They started off with Belle Johnson's 9.725. So again, a little bit of a slow start compared to what we're accustomed to for the Sooners.
Yeah, John, take a look at top left. This is Lexi Edwards. She scores really high. Look how high it is. I just can't believe she has such a calm and clean landing with how big of a vault that is. Last year, she scored a meet high of a 9.95 to secure a spot at NCAA's. This year, she wants to go back with her team.
Huge vault to finish the rotation for the Buckeyes. Sydney Jennings right before her a 9.85. Peyton Harris a 9.925. So most likely they will drop Nicole Riccardi's 9.75 and have all scores of 9.8 or better as they're counting scores on vault. So doing what we said they needed to do, Sam, into that second rotation. They've got to hit vault because they've got bars and beam, which can tend to be a little bit more precarious, if you will. So setting themselves up, though, well for the second half.
I think the word Meredith used was intricate, actually.
That's a good way to put it. I like that.
Yeah. But taking a look at Cammie Weaver here, bottom left for Arkansas, this is a crucial routine for them. I think if she hits this, it's going to give a lot of confidence to the back half of the lineup because they're still not in the clear. They want to drop that low score.
So 9.05 for Callie Swaney. They have got to drop that one given what these other two teams, Oklahoma and Ohio State, are doing.
Finishing 1.5. Couldn't ask much more from the redshirt freshman.
Alexa Ortega, NC State, top right of your screen. Has done all around this year for the first time. Big step for her. And that was Suki Pfister from Ball State, the individual competing in that rotation. Big time handspring pike front half. Well done.
And take a look bottom right. This is Jordan Bowers. I love, like I said this on beam, just the intensity of her movements is so fun to watch.
Down to the 3-box. Vault has finished, so Bars is the top center of your screen. NC State, bottom right, Oklahoma. Bottom left, Arkansas. Reagan Smith, a 9.85 in the third spot for Oklahoma. Lexi Edwards did get a 9.875 on vault. Nice rotation for the Buckeyes.
Opens double full punch front. Great job controlling that momentum, not going out of bounds there. And we got to talk about Lauren Williams, John, because, you know, unfortunately, Kennedy Hambrick is not competing. She had to have surgery and is out, but this is Lauren Williams. She's been alternate on beam all year, and they exhibitioned her a few times. Head coach Jordan Weaver said, I'm really glad that we exhibitioned her throughout the season just to get some experience, but this is a big routine for Arkansas.
And you're going from a fifth-year senior in Kennedy Hambrick to a freshman in Lauren Williams in arguably the biggest moment of the season for Arkansas. Balance beam, trying to advance to the next day of the regional championships. You had a fall, you absolutely need a hit, and the freshman is on the spot for the big moment.
They said she's been looking really good in practice, and I think if she hits this, they found a new beam contestant to be in there. Ooh, little wobble there, but pulls it back on. Really, they just need her to stay on here.
That was Emily Shepard on the top of your screen, finishing her bar routine. She is the EAGL Conference Gymnast of the Year. Second time she won that award.
Finishing 1.5. And nicely done. She's in the clear.
Quite a comeback for Cammie after she injured her knee at the first meet of the season last year on vault, and has just worked really hard. Been a contributor on that event again this year, as well as, oh, I'm sorry, Cammie Weaver was before her. Thank you for correcting me. Cammie Weaver right before her with the 9.9, came back from the knee injury. Lauren Williams, obviously a freshman this year.
But I think, John, to your point, they have a lot of new faces in their lineup from last year, whether it's injuries, whether it's freshmen. They just have had a lot of distractions this year, and I think it's really cool to see that they're putting lineups together in the postseason regardless of that.
Jordan Bowers on floor, a 9.9 for her routine. This is Danielle Sievers now in the 5th spot. One more gymnast after her to go.
And this is such a fun routine. This might be one of my favorite routines in the NCAA right now. She performs it so well, and it's just so fun.
Nora Flatley, the anchor position for Arkansas on beam.
She's one of the best on beam. Just the way that she carries herself, the way that she adjusts. She's what we call, a true beam worker. She has the ability to be fierce, but also top-notch performance quality.
Strong finish for NC State on the uneven bars with Lauren Rutherford.
Nora finishing round off 1.5. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure I've seen her do a better routine than that. I feel like I keep saying that at this meet. All of these athletes are really rising to the occasion. I mean, that could be another 10.0, John.
And what a clutch finish for Arkansas on beam. They had the fall from Swaney, and it was a scary fall. She got up, finished her routine, and then they followed that up with back-to-back-to-back hit routines when they needed it absolutely at the most.
And I think it's almost
that 905.
I think it's almost more impressive to me when a team has a fall or has a mistake and is able to come back so strong. I think it really speaks to the grit and the fight of that team, and they've done that on 2 events so far.
Lauren Williams' score was a 9.7, so not a huge score, but again, with the pressure on and trying to drop that 9.05, that was still a big hit routine for them, and certainly will keep them in the battle for the top 2 teams heading out of this second session.
Now, John, you're really in for a treat here. In the bottom right, this is Faith Torres. She got a 9.95 at Big 12s, but she's actually the first freshman since Olivia Troutman in 2019 to be ranked #1 on an event on opening weekend. How impressive is that?
And you're going to see why with this big opening pass. Grace Summer on your left from Ball State, sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana. Beautiful, beautiful opening pass.
finishing round off 1.5. Great work. These athletes are finding the landing. They are setting themselves up. Their bodies are in the right position to absorb the landing. I mean, all smiles there. Check that out. It almost looks like they're wearing the same leotards as well. Yeah, Oklahoma started off a little slow on floor just in comparison to what they've been doing, but the back half of their lineup was so solid. But I think it's still safe to say it's going to be a close one.
Danny Severs a 9.9 for her floor team. She was the 5th gymnast to go. It has been a fantastic second rotation. Maybe not the perfect one like we saw in the first rotation, but Ohio State came out strong here with Harris leading the way on vault.
Check out this 1.5. Not only is it huge, it's aggressive, and she finds the landing perfectly vertical.
Arkansas on balance beam, Cammie Weaver and Nora Flatley getting it done.
I mean, Cammie Weaver and Nora Flatley are the 2 MVPs in my opinion. It is really tough to go after a fall, not to mention she's just a freshman. Nora came in clutch there in the anchor position, and I thought she got a little robbed. Could have been a higher score in my opinion, but beautiful from start to finish. Great work from Nora Flatley.
But it's a freshman for Oklahoma in the anchor position with a 9.925, getting the #1 team in the country the lead back after 2.
She is so solid, spots the landing. She does a good job planting her feet, not moving them.
And here is your summary. After 1, it was Ohio State. After 2, just take out the S, it's OU by 0.125. And some of those highlights, Peyton Harris, 9.925 on vault, uneven bars. Shepard with that 9.925. Nora Flatley with that clutch beam routine, 9.95. And OU with 5 scores of a 9.85 or higher. Great start to the competition. Your leaders, the Oklahoma Sooners, they're going to go to vault. Ohio State on bars, Arkansas on floor. NC State goes to balance beam next.
My favorite TV show is The Vampire Diaries. I definitely like to listen to country before I compete every time. My favorite food would probably be acai bowls or mac and cheese. My most used emoji is probably the laughing cry emoji or the handshake emoji. My favorite social media app is Instagram.
Sam, what's your favorite emoji? Do you have one?
Yeah, you can't see me, so I'll have to show you later, but it's the silly one.
The crying, laughing one. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
Let's get back to business
cowboy
here.
hat, you know.
After 2 rotations, it's Oklahoma with a .125 lead over Ohio State. Arkansas in 3rd. Certainly a battle between the 3 of them. NC State currently in 4th. Here's what our bracket looks like. Alabama, Kentucky, they advanced earlier today. Great battle between the 2 of them. Iowa and Illinois couldn't quite take advantage of some of the slight errors from the Crimson Tide. They distanced themselves, do Alabama and Kentucky from the other 2. They will advance fairly comfortably, but here we have Oklahoma, Ohio State, Arkansas, NC State. A 3-way battle, Sam. You know, what emoji would you apply to this competition so far? Because it's lived up to expectations.
I mean, the dance emoji, the thumbs up emoji, it's been a party here in this second session of the regional semifinals. I'm here for it. There's a lot of action, especially coming up in the second half of this meet.
And you were talking about, you're kind of handicapping things going into this 3rd rotation. I heard you looking at where people are strong. Do you have a feel, maybe, even though Arkansas is in 3rd, is there something coming up that maybe gives them an advantage over maybe Ohio State or even Oklahoma?
Yeah, I'm really interested in this Arkansas-Ohio State storyline and this competition between the two of them. I think it's a close meet between them. It's all close right now, but specifically those two teams. Arkansas does have a higher scoring potential. It's their best event on floor, but bars has been up and down. They can score high for Ohio State. 49.4 is their highest scoring, but they really need to get those landings because it's a team that gets amped up. So if they can find their landings, it's going to be really, really close.
So for Arkansas, floor and vault, so two leg events, they can just let it all fly. They're done with bars. They're done with beam, the intricate ones, if you will. Ohio State now, they go to bars and they go to beam, so that will be interesting. Oklahoma, they do have the lead. They are on to vault. Where, I mean, talk about setting
John,
the bar high, no pun intended. Oklahoma sets the bar high on vault, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, you're taking the words out of my mouth. I was going to help you out there. They're ranked #1. We still haven't mentioned them heading into this rotation, and it's one of my favorite teams in the country to watch on this event. And they just have beautiful technique off the table, and they all could score a 10 in my opinion, but it's who's going to hit on that day. And we actually never know their lineups because they have so many athletes that have a 10-0 start value that whoever looks good in that warm-up is going to get to compete. So I always think that's interesting looking at Oklahoma competing on vault.
We saw some great stats earlier about Oklahoma. Here's a couple more. They haven't lost at home since 2014. That's 69 in a row. They're at home, obviously, today. They have 53, 198 scores or above since 2016. 21 of those are at home, but 32 of them are in a neutral site or on the road. So that will tell you the kind of dominance you're looking at as Danny Sievers starts on vault for Oklahoma. Emma Pritchard for Ohio State on floor. Maddie Jones, for Ohio State on bars. Maddie Jones for Arkansas on floor. And Gabrielle Diaz for NC State on beam.
Yeah, let's take a look at bars up in the top right. This is a really, really important routine for them to set the tone for Ohio State here on bars. Head coach Meredith Polisiewicz said, "I'm glad we're not starting on bars this year." She felt like having bars third was really going to allow them to settle in and not get as amped up. We saw a little bit of slide there on the landing, so they're going to want to take a deep breath, get a little more calm when they land to sink into those mats. Top left, this is Allie Stern. She's returning to the team this year as a walk-on for her super senior year. She was a scholarship athlete for the first 4 years, but is using her extra COVID year as a walk-on athlete.
How about that?
Yeah, she's been balancing a torn plantar fascia all season, but you can't even tell. Look how big that vault is. They've been managing her body, and they've done a nice job with that, considering how well she vaults there.
Outstanding job from Stern. 9-9 for Danny Sievers in the leadoff spot. We mentioned that 9-9 in the first position on an event is just a huge advantage for Oklahoma over most of the rest of the country. Kat Levasseur will be the next to go. Peyton Harris, the next to go for Ohio State on bars. Emma Pritchard started off with a 9.8, so a good start score. We're still waiting for Maddie Jones's score. She led off on floor exercise, and Gabrielle Diaz, who led off for NC State on beam. Macy Jennings waiting to go for the Wolfpack on beam next.
Nice handstand position to start things off. Top right, another gun locked in there. And it's those little details that's going to get those extra tenths to make them feel more comfortable in this second spot. She really needs to get this stuck landing. Wow. Called it.
You did. And she heard you. Needed it and got it. Kat Levasseur on vault.
We haven't seen a stick yet for Oklahoma, which is extremely rare, but like you mentioned, it's always better to take a step forward on those vault landings versus a step back. Step back means you're under-rotated. You're going to get more deductions that way.
And Lou Ball, one of the coaches for Oklahoma, did say that exact thing to me a couple weeks ago. He said, I've taught the athletes to, take a step forward. Don't overwork trying to get that stuck landing and cost yourself a lot more. And tells them to take a step forward, but you mentioned it. A lot of times they'll just stick it. I'd be surprised if we don't get at least one here in this rotation. Maddie Jones led off for Arkansas on floor with a 9.9. Maddie Hickey right now performing for the Razorbacks.
Yeah, and it's looking good so far in the bottom right. Good combination pass. You see Chris Brooks clapping there. He was a former Oklahoma men's athlete, so he's feeling right at home here.
Jordan Bowers just vaulted. Peyton Harris, a 9.9 for Ohio State on bars, a career high. As Lexi Edwards is currently on the apparatus.
And this is looking really good in that top right. Legs together, good rhythm from start to finish. Let's see if she can get this handstand, locks it in. But the key for Ohio State on bars is these landings.
And they are money tonight.
Man, they had their Wheaties for breakfast. Geez, they're looking good.
Maddie Hickey trying to keep pace. Is Arkansas on floor? They started with the 9.9, so they are right there. NC State on balance beam started with a 9.675. Waiting for Macy Jennings' score to come in.
Let's check out top left. This is Audrey Davis. Gonna be doing another Yurchenko 1.5. Big deep breath before she goes. And a little step back. Looked like she was actually going for that stick. Sometimes you can notice if your teammates are stepping forward or they have a lot of momentum, so you try to overcorrect yourself. So looks like she anticipated the landing a little too quickly there.
It looked like maybe a little split of the legs on the vault table too. It went by quick, and I might have been seeing things, but we'll see. I'll be curious to see what the judges do with that step back. Jordan Bowers took a step kind of to the side and forward, a 9.8 for her. We saw Allie Stern also with that step. Kat Lavasser took that step forward, got a 9.9. So we'll see what the judges do with that Audrey Davis score. Lexi Edwards on bars for Ohio State, 9.875. Alexis Hankins now about to go.
Wow, good save on balance beam there at the bottom left. Landed that and had her heel up. On these landings, it's really important to think about pressing the entire foot on the beam. It really helps you land.
Maddie Hickey for Arkansas on floor, a 9.875. Leah Smith now competing bottom right of your screen.
Nice job selling that landing on floor. Oh, and another stuck landing for Ohio State on bars.
I think they're 4 for 4, Sam. I don't know that I've seen a step on any landing for the Buckeyes on bars.
Olivia Troutman, top left, and you can always count on Olivia Troutman to lock in a stuck landing. She's been out all year. We've been joking she's their closer because every year it almost seems like she comes back at the perfect time. She's healthy, she's energized. Man, she is an athlete.
Audrey Davis only a 9.75 right before that Olivia Troutman vault. So look, I'm going to sound critical of Oklahoma right now because the bar has been set so high. That was not their typical vault rotation, Sam. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I wonder what's going on. I don't know. It's not a team that looks nervous to me. They're not competing nervous, but maybe it's like they're trying to be too perfect, and sometimes that happens too. You're trying to be too aggressive, too something, and instead of just doing their normal, because their normal is, really amazing.
Nicole Riccardi now on bars for Ohio State. Alexis Hankins, a 9.85 right before her. So the low score for Ohio State on bars right now is a 9.8. Arkansas is pretty much been matching them on floor exercise, although they haven't done quite as many routines so far.
Nice handstand position on bars. They're really doing a good job working on these execution.
That was Alana Laster, top left of your screen from Illinois State, competing as an individual.
Good vertical pirouette. Maybe a little shy on that handstand, but finishes double tuck.
Another
On fire.
stuck landing. Unbelievable.
I haven't seen them compete as much as I would like this season, but the way head coach Meredith Paul-Civic made it seem was they've had some really up and down meets with sticking, and I can't tell, actually.
Unfortunate fall from Alexis Ortega, bottom left of your screen from NC State. They had 3 hit routines leading up to that one. They have 2 more yet to go. Nora Flatley from Arkansas, bottom right, following Leah Smith's 9.85. So really going toe-to-toe with Ohio State so far.
Talk about an athlete that can put up a big score for Arkansas. Nora Flatley can definitely do that, especially when she is on, and she is on tonight.
Colby Miller, top of your screen, will be the anchor position for Ohio State as we're waiting for a Cardi score. Oklahoma's score on vault, by the way, the 2nd lowest of their entire season. So definitely not typical for the Sooners. Nicole Riccardi's score, 9.9 for Ohio State on floor. Their 2nd 9.9. Trying to drop a 9.8 from their bar rotation. Incredible meet so far for the Buckeyes.
Take a look at this bar routine. Another, oh, wow. Wow, that was so interesting. I'm not sure I've seen that before. She peeled off the bar. I wonder if her grip got stuck. She's not looking at her grip. Sometimes that happens if you have a rip in your grip, but she's definitely not changing grip, so that's not what happened.
Well, here's the thing. They could have put up a big number there. It could have been a 9.9 plus, which would have gained them another 10th and a half in a team score, but
Let's
they
see
do
what
have
happened.
5 great hits.
Really nice handstand. She goes to put her feet on the bar. It's so interesting. And now she's gonna repeat that. And more than anything, it just rattles you. You know, even if you're physically okay, you're just a little thrown off. It's not what you were expecting to do.
So Arkansas and Ohio State both have odd falls from the uneven bars. And this one, a big one for Ohio State.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, that was a big routine for them. Potential, you know, high score of the season for Colby, 9.95. So you got to think a 10th and a half for the team score. But man, you got those 5 big hits. That is huge for them. Now the question is, what is Arkansas going to do with their last 2 routines? Nora Flatley got a 9.875. Lauren Williams now on floor with Frankie Price yet to go.
And she's a freshman, but she scored a 9.9 at SEC, so I think she's comfortable in this event.
Emily Shepard on balance beam. Sorry, Sam.
If you quickly take a look at the top box, she's getting evaluated. I think she's probably upset more than she's hurt, but man, she's going to be a little sore tomorrow.
She's angry. That was an angry face, I think.
Yeah.
Emily Shepard on balance beam, loving it. Great performance for her. She's a special athlete for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, she's really done a nice job for them this year. I enjoy watching her gymnastics. Finishing here, last pass, double back to a stuck landing. This is going to be a really good score. Bottom bottom right, big score coming up for Arkansas. They're going to need some 9-9s, though. They're still trailing in that third position here. They want to increase their team score right here on this event. They got one more athlete to do so.
Kylie Georgiany from New Hampshire on the uneven bars, individual competing in this rotation on that event. Ohio State obviously done.
Nice bar dismount there. Legs glued together, clean.
Chloe Negretti for NC State in the anchor position follows Emily Shepard's beautiful 9.85. Alana Laster was an individual on the vault. She was with Illinois State. She got a 9.875 after Oklahoma finished competing as a team. Olivia Troutman, 9.95. Not sure if I mentioned that. Lauren Williams, a 9.9 for Arkansas in the 5th spot on floor. And now Frankie Price trying to put an exclamation point on this rotation for Arkansas.
Yeah, and she can score big here in the bottom right. Check out this first pass. Huge double layout. You know, I think people look at Arkansas this year and you see some up and down meets, but really it's a super young team that they're just getting a lot of competition experience, building their depth. They've had a lot of different athletes in lineups, and they've also broken a lot of records this year. So I think it's a really good start regardless of what happens this weekend for the overall growth of the program. Head coach Jordan Weber said, you know, I think all you can really do, especially with a young team, is instill belief in them and really try to convince them that their best is enough, not to be anyone else other than our fun, goofy, hardworking team. And man, I think she's going to be really proud of their performance so far.
What a job for the Razorbacks through 3. What a job for Ohio State through 3. On the left hand of your screen, Hannah Ruthberg from Ball State. She's competing here as an all-arounder, trying to advance to the NCAA championships as an individual. Ball State got knocked out of the regionals by NC State in the play-in game in the first round. Hannah has worked hard this season, done all around 13 times this season, Sam, coming into these second round of the regionals. That is putting in some work.
It is. We talk about it. It's physically tiring, but it's also mentally tiring just being on that many times. Switch leap combination. I'd like to see her arms a little bit more precise in the transition elements there. Finishing cartwheel, gainer full off the side. And jam-packed routine from her.
That will finish our beam rotation. Hannah Ruthberg scored a 9.8 on bars the last rotation. And in the first rotation in vault, a 9.8 as well. Frankie Price, a 9.95 for her floor routine. What a finish for the Razorbacks. And now this is senior from Copley, Ohio, Megan Teeter. She also competed on even bars here as an individual. Now here she is on the floor exercise for Ball State.
Nice combination pass. Big double back, slid her foot there just a little bit. Man, I don't envy her doing a floor routine 2 days in a row. but she looks in shape. She looks like she's got good stamina. She looks like she has a lot of endurance and can handle it. Finishing here, front photo layout, beautifully done. No deductions there. And another great floor routine from Megan.
So we have got a tight 1 through 3. About as tight as you could ask for, Sam. .275 between the first place team and the third place team. Here's some highlights from OU on vault. Danny Sievers, Olivia Troutman.
Started off, yeah, you mentioned Danny Sievers there. Big 1.5, clean landing. We hadn't seen any stick landings until Olivia Troutman goes and nails it.
Arkansas had some answers of their own on the floor exercise, starting with Maddie Hickey.
This is Maddie Jones, and she had some redemption here, leading them off, and scores continued to rise. Frankie Price finishes things off with a 9.95. We saw big tumbling and a great performance throughout this routine. Arkansas is still in the third place position, but they are coming back strong.
The second place team right now, the Ohio State Buckeyes, putting up some big numbers on the uneven bar, starting with Peyton Harris.
Yeah, I really noticed all the details between the stuck landings, which is something that they've been focusing on, and all those handstands and good execution. And that's the reason why we saw some big numbers from Ohio State on bars. Check it out. Another stuck landing. They were on fire. The sticks were definitely contagious for them today.
So we said that Ohio State and Arkansas were going to be battling for that second spot, but we also said we thought Oklahoma would pull away. They are not pulling away. The difference between first and third is .275. Oklahoma cannot relax. They have got to hit. Will it be Ohio State? Will it be Arkansas? Will Oklahoma make it to the next round? Did you think those words would come out of my mouth? You got to be crazy. This is madness. We're going to the fourth event coming up next. I need oxygen.
That was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding.
And check this double layout out. That is just gorgeous.
That routine was excellent.
That is just mind-boggling.
Unbelievable performance.
That's a superpower.
Don't worry, everybody. I got my oxygen. I'm breathing again. April 13th, the NCAA semifinals, ESPN2. April 15th, the live pre-show, and then the NCAA finals. That'll be on ABC. It's going to be the best sports you'll see this spring. Do not miss it. Here is our regional bracket. Now, we are covering Alabama, Kentucky, already into the regional final. Who is going to join them? And if you would have told me an hour ago or so that Oklahoma is going to have to perform in the last event to be one of those teams, Sam, I would have said, you're crazy. They're going to have this thing dialed in about halfway through the meet. That is not the case. We have got 3 teams, and I don't know that I'm prepared to even pick which 2 of those 3 are going to make it. Your thoughts?
John, I'm going to put you on the spot. Since you put me on the spot earlier, which 2 are making it to the regional semifinal or regional finals?
Oh, my gosh. You know, I think, Oklahoma's going to bars. They're number 1 in the country on bars. You've seen them a lot on that event. I've seen them a lot on the event. It's hard for me to imagine them missing 2 routines, which really is what they would have to do to fall out of that top spot, in my opinion. It obviously could happen. But other than that, Ohio State and Arkansas, I don't know, man. Arkansas seems to have a little something to them that I didn't see earlier in this year. Am I willing to go as far as to say they're going to be the second team? God, you're putting my feet to the fire. I'll say they get it done, but, man, Ohio State, they have been strong tonight, and they're not going to go quietly. But they got to finish on beam. No thank you, Sam. How would you like to
man.
finish on beam?
I think something that's really interesting, if we're looking at scoring potential, Ohio State's highest beam score this year is a 49.525. You want to know what Arkansas's highest vault score is this year? 49.525. And not to mention, they finished on vault at SECs and they went lights out. They got 4.99s. So they're coming off of a high from the last high pressure situation, finishing on this event right here. So they got a lot of momentum, and it's really important for Ohio State to settle down on this event and just do their job. I don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, you got to think it's better to finish on vault in the pressure situation than beam, isn't it? I mean, just on the surface of it, I've never done balance beam, but that's how it feels to me. Am I right or am I crazy?
I mean, I think it depends on who you ask. I love balance beam, and I would feel it's way easier to hit a beam routine, in my opinion, than to stick a vault under this kind of pressure. So I guess it depends on the kind of athlete you are, and knowing that Arkansas went lights out just on their last meet, that gives me a lot of hope that they can repeat that here tonight.
So here we go. Cammie Weaver, top left of your screen, will lead things off for Arkansas. Top right of your screen, Danny Sievers will start things off for Oklahoma. Ohio State on balance beam with Emma Pritchard. NC State on floor exercise with Gabrielle Diaz. Again, 2/10 back is Ohio State from Oklahoma. 0.075 back from Ohio State is Arkansas. They might as well be tied.
This is Cammie Weaver. Wow, that was a strong start. She got a 9.9 at SECs to lead things off for them. Let's see what the judges do here. Nah, Oklahoma is not messing around, John. Danny Sievers nailed that routine. She locked in the dismount. They're gonna catch some fire throughout this bar rotation. And honestly, this is the best that you can ask for. Let the best man win here. You want everyone to hit lights out and see what the judges do.
So Emma Pritchard for Ohio State gets them started with the hit. Second gymnast for the Buckeyes will be Alexis Hankins on the beam. Danae Fletcher should be the second gymnast to go for Oklahoma on bars. Incidentally, we thought we were going to see Danae Sam on floor exercise. She's been dealing with an Achilles injury. She did not go in on that event, but healthy enough here to go on bars.
Nice double back in the bottom right.
Nora Flatley, top left, follows Cammie Weaver's 9.85.
This is important. Yurchenko layout full.
Oh! Oh, she wanted that stuck landing so bad. You could see her just digging those toes in.
Like her life depended on that vault. I mean, the fight is in it. You love to see that kind of effort and grit from such a veteran competitor there.
Danae Fletcher on bars, top right. Danny Sievers starts with a 9.95. Wow, what a score to start a rotation.
This is looking really good from Danae, but I think it's also important to remind you guys, she didn't compete the other 3 events, so you get a little cold during the meet. This is her one moment in the sun, and she really takes advantage. Biggest deduction I saw there were those 2 hops on the landing, but everything on the bars looks solid.
Fantastic on the bars. The double hop, that is should be 2.10, so you'd think about a 9.8 for that routine, which not a bad score, but man, she was set up. She sticks that landing, she's looking at a 9.9 plus.
Yeah.
Emma Pritchard for Ohio State starts with a 9.8 on the balance beam. Alexis Hankins currently up. Nora Flatley, a 9.825. Thought it might have been a little higher. Maybe they got her for that a little bit of a low landing, Sam?
Yeah, I think the chest was down, so even though she's stuck, might have had a little pike in the hips, chest down. Frankie Price, though, big, huge vault, little hop back there. Sometimes it's hard to see from our angle here on the TV and not quite the judge's angle, but we can infer what these deductions might be.
Alexis Ortega on floor exercise for NC State, bottom right of your screen. Olivia Troutman getting ready to go for Oklahoma on the bars. Danae Fletcher, a 9.825, decent score yet, despite those 2 hops, decent score for her.
Finishing round-off double full. Not a cold stuck landing, but really good positions as she hit the ground. So the deduction will just be for that slight hop and no body position errors there. Quickly top right, check out Olivia Troutman. She's already been clutch a few times in this competition. Let's see if she can do it again here to close things out for Oklahoma.
Leah Smith, top left for Arkansas on vault. Frankie Price, a 9.85 for them in the 3rd spot.
Leah Smith, Yurchenko layout full. Just as good as she could do it. Olivia Troutman had hop on that dismount, so not quite a stuck landing. And we're kind of seeing that across the board. Vault, beam, and bars specifically. And you have to imagine that they know how close these team scores are. So they're trying to control all of this momentum, all of this adrenaline that they're feeling. They need to bend their knees just a little bit more and take the time. Don't rush the landings to make sure so they get that stick.
So what's going to happen here is Arkansas is going to be done with vault. Then Oklahoma will finish uneven bars, and the last team in contention for the top 2 is going to be Ohio State, and they will still be going along with NC State. NC State cannot get back into the top 2, so it's going to be Ohio State basically on beam, knowing we are going to know exactly what they're going to need to get into the top 2. Wow, this is the way it's supposed to finish. As we see Reagan Smith mount the bars.
Nice handstand position. A little far on that catch, that release move. That was all willpower there.
Big
Arkansas's
fall.
1.5.
Mackenzie Sedlacek, 1.5.
This is so close. Beam finishes round of double full, stuck landing. That's Peyton Harris.
They needed it.
Coaches
they needed
say that
it.
she's tiny, but she's got a big personality and exactly what you want from a freshman all around her. She has been so phenomenal for them all season. And she's hitting in these big pressure situations. We got a lot of big things to watch for from Peyton.
Alexis Hankins in the 2 spot for Ohio State, just a 9.7. So that is a score here, as tight as this is. They're going to want to drop that because Arkansas, all scores of 9.8 or above. 2 9.85, a 9.8, and a 9.825 as we wait for Sedlacek's score with Lauren Williams yet to come in the anchor spot, their last vaulter.
Yeah, this is a really important one for Arkansas. Again, Lauren Williams, this is, I think a few times she's come in clutch for Arkansas. Last vault, she scored a 9.9 at SECs with her 1.5.
Just a freshman in such a huge spot.
Wow.
Oh my goodness! I need to find my oxygen again.
I know, this is
my
gonna
heavens,
be
was that
tight.
good.
That should be at least a 9.9 there. Just a very tiny, I think she just moved 1 foot. Putting the pressure on Ohio State and frankly, Oklahoma on bars.
Jordan Bowers just nailed a bar routine. I think that is going to clinch a spot for the Sooners. They are just rolling as we see that vault again, Sam.
Yeah, very clean. Just moves that left foot.
Big hug
Arkansas,
from KJ.
regardless of what happens, I mean, they really, I think, may have put their best meat out on the floor today. All you can ask for a team like that. Geez, it was a good competition.
Wow. So Lauren Williams, a 9.9. You said it, Sam. She finishes that rotation with a 9.9. They will drop one of their 2 9.8s Kenzie Sedlacek out of 9.8, so they will drop one of those two. And now we wait and see. Jordan Bowers nails her bar routine. And there's a lot of joy upper right. I'm not sure if that's another 10 for Oklahoma. The bar routine looked like it had that potential. Peyton Harris, meanwhile, for Ohio State in the third spot, gets a 9.9. It is a 10 for Jordan Bowers. Oklahoma will advance. They made it more interesting than they wanted to, though, Sam.
Yeah, and this is the second 10 of the night for them. So a lot of up and down emotions, I think, for that Oklahoma team. But I think what's positive that came out of it is even though it wasn't perfect, they were still able to adjust, put up those big numbers at the back end of the lineup and make it happen.
They just have Audrey Davis yet to go, and she's number 6 in the nation on the uneven bar. It's a joy to watch on this event. Almost always, it's almost an automatic 9.95 or better for Audrey Davis.
This is a good routine so far from Audrey Davis. Her pirouettes are just so on top of the bar.
Great sequence here to finish.
Big unique dismount, lots of difficulty. Wow. Big number. Could they go back-to-back perfect 10s? Maybe.
It'll be interesting. I mean, that was perfect. I thought her one foot may have slid just slightly on the mat when she landed, if I'm really being uber critical. But my gosh, regardless, who cares? That bar routine was just poetry.
Solid by handspring layout for beam bottom left. There's a lot of pressure here on the back end of this Ohio State beam lineup, and you can kind of get a glimpse of Arkansas just waiting. And that's the worst feeling, being done and just waiting to see what everyone else scores, hoping that you did enough.
So this is Tori Vetter, and I've been told 9.8375 average for the last two gymnasts. Gets Ohio State to the regional finals, and another stuck landing. They have been machines. We saw them stick almost every bar routine, and now here they are doing it again on beam, Sam.
Yeah, they are looking really good. You can't really tell that the pressure is on for them. I mean, talking to head coach Meredith Polisiewicz, she said that they have a bell you get to ring if you have a perfect practice. But lately, they've been talking about an perfect practice, which is perfect without the P. And that's exactly what she wanted to see from them today. They don't need to be perfect. They just need to be perfect. And honestly, I think that's exactly what they're doing here today.
I have no idea what that means, but I like it. Let's go for perfect. Emily Shepard now on floor exercise for NC State, bottom right.
Yeah, yesterday Emily got a 9.9 on this routine, so she is really beautiful to watch.
And she has been on fire today. Just bringing the energy on every event.
Opens double pike. Beautiful stuck combination pass. Great routine so far on the right side here on floor. And another stuck landing. Wow, this was an incredible floor routine. This is going to be a huge number for NC State.
NC State won't advance as a team, but that could be an opportunity for Emily Shepard.
Yeah.
Now, the drama is in your bottom left of your screen. Here is what is happening. Ella Hodges, the anchor position for Ohio State. She needs a 9.75 or better for Ohio State to advance to the regional finals. Now, just a little side note to this. JoJo Warga, was supposed to be in the anchor position. Last minute change to put in Ella Hodges. And I asked the coach, I was texting with Luke Wasson before, and I said, what's the matter? Why the change? And he said it was just the coach's gut feel. So does the gut feel get you to the regional finals?
My heart is pounding. I'm so nervous. Ooh. Ah. She needs
What do you
to
take
just
for that
stay
small wobble,
centered.
Sam?
I mean, I'm not quite sure what the judges are going to do here. And of course, it's a subjective sport, and it's really going to be a close one. She's not going to make this decision easy.
Oh,
and she took
big
a
step.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
What does she need to get?
A 9.75. The low score
It's
right
gonna
now
be
is
really
a 9.7. So it would add a 0.5 tenth to their team score.
You can see Meredith just running her fingers through the hair. She's putting her hand on her head. She's nervous. I'm doing the same thing. I'm also nervous. Man, everybody is waiting in anticipation here. I really don't know what the judges are going to do.
So I don't take this to the bank, but a 9.725, I believe, would tie. Ohio State is going crazy in the bottom left. What do they know that we don't?
Show us the score. I mean, it's clear that they made it.
It is a 9.8 for Ella Hodges in Ohio State Buckeyes. Hold off the Arkansas Razorbacks for the second spot in the regional finals. What an absolute barn burner. Wow, Chloe Negretti,
so
by the way,
close.
bottom right of your screen, just to quickly finishing up for NC State. Go ahead, Sam.
It was just so close. I mean, you texting Luke about having a feeling. If they had a fall on that last rotation or a bigger wobble, it was really close there. They didn't make it easy. It was a fight until the end.
Holy mackerel, that was good. Alyssa Worthington on beam from New Hampshire, individual competing. Not to take away from their performances, I apologize, but the drama of the team competition has certainly got us wrapped up.
Yeah, beautiful beam work here. And you know that she was on the beam when they found out. So a lot of energy over on balance beam. Hopefully it helped her up there. Little step on the dismount there, but really good beam work from her.
Wow, what? I think I'm just trying to take it all in at the moment. Oklahoma, top right, they're not exactly overjoyed. I think sometimes it's hard to go into a meet knowing you don't want to lose. You're not trying to win, really. You're just trying to not mess it up, right, Sam? And that seemed like, for a lot of the top teams today competing, you know, really across the country, it seemed there was a little bit of that. You know, you're just trying to get through, and that's not always a great psychological place to be sometimes, is it?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about OU, they're ranked #1, and we talk about them having an off day. Well, their off day is almost a 198, right? So you can imagine just a little bit better than their off day is incredible. So sometimes it's good not to have your greatest day heading into the regional finals, because let me tell you, they're going to come back with vengeance here for Saturday's competition.
It was Hannah Ruthberg for Ball State, finishing up her night. She's competing in the all-around as an individual. Last rotation on balance beam, 9.625 for her. Again, vying for these individual spots. To get to the NCAAs as an individual, you have to be the highest score on that event or in the all-around after you take out the two teams that advance to the NCAA championship. So keep that in mind. You won't really know until after the regional finals. Certainly if you win today, you beat everybody on your event or in the all-around, you're in. And keep in mind, a great example is that Raina Worley from Kentucky won the all-around across both sessions today. So if Kentucky were not to qualify as a team, for example, she would automatically get that all-around spot.
I don't think Kentucky would appreciate that example.
That example?
John.
No,
Yeah.
don't tell Tim Garrison I use that example.
You're reverse jinxing them, so it's okay. And a great
Ruth
finish.
Yeah, finishing up strong.
for
Well
NC
done.
State.
Is it just me, or does Oklahoma look like they lost?
Yeah, I think I saw some tears over there, but the good thing about that is they get to sleep in their own beds tonight, be really comfortable. My guess is they're going to get back together tomorrow and have a meeting, at least.
Let's take a look at this last rotation for Oklahoma. It was a great way to finish when they needed it most, Sam.
Yeah, this is Danny Seaver. She always starts off clutch for them, locks in that landing, good score. And Olivia Troutman, man, there are not enough great things to say about this athlete. She's just so clutch, finishes clean, double layout dismount, puts up a good number for them. And this is Reagan Smith all the way back to that high bar. Great handstand position. And a little shapy there on the dismount, but finds the landing. Jordan Bowers showing off here with those lines to earn herself a perfect 10. Super clean, tuck full in. Too easy.
So Oklahoma in the top spot, and it came down to the end here on balance beam for Ohio State.
This is Tori Vetter. Round off double full. Just going back to look at every single detail that they did. If they didn't stick that landing, if they didn't squeeze a little harder, they might not be making it to the regional finals. Finishing with this clutch performance. She probably didn't know how important that routine was, but man, they needed that number from her.
If she didn't know how important that routine was, she's got a mental focus that I need to get the recipe for, because that was amazing in a big spot. Congratulations to them. We're going to wrap things up, take a deep breath, and just kind of take one last look at this incredible regional semifinal. Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma, and this regional second round, second session. We're taking a deep breath. John Rothenberger, Sam Pesek, and this, Sam, was an incredible regional session. We built it up, and it lived up to the billing.
It really did, and I think something interesting to wrap things up with all four of these teams is interesting things happen. A lot of great things, but a lot of uncharacteristic things too. So what I learned here is that mistakes can happen with a lot of pressure and a lot of adrenaline, and nobody is safe. It's going to take until the very last competitor through the fight to see who is going to make it to the next competition.
And for 3 rotations, it looked like Oklahoma was putting themselves on the brink, but they speed away at the end there on the uneven bars. They advance. Ohio State, Arkansas come down to the wire, but Ohio State gets it. So this is what your regional final looks like here in Norman. Alabama, Kentucky, Oklahoma, and Ohio State. And I'll tell you what, I mean, you'd think Oklahoma is going to get in there, but what they showed today and what these other teams showed is they might give the Sooners a run. And you know the thing, Sam, I look back on too for Ohio State, their bar rotation, those stuck bar dismounts. It happened earlier in the competition, but man, was it big for the Buckeyes. So Oklahoma, Alabama, Kentucky, Ohio State, they advance to the regional final, 6 p.m. Eastern time this Saturday. Do not miss it. If this has taught you anything, this is the time to watch women's gymnastics. Incredible. For Sam Pesek, I am John Roethlisberger. So long from this second round, session 2 of these women's regionals. Congratulations, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Alabama, and Ohio State.